bug's life, there's little room for social graces. Manners aren't required. And social skills, well, that's left pretty much to the ant crowd. But there comes a time when even the meanest bug needs to accommodate a neighbor. For a short while. What happens when a brown house spider and a redback spider live too close for comfort? The neighborhood will never be the same. This log has become a sort of bug housing estate. Residents come and go. Visitors drop by, get eaten. Suburban life goes on.
Sometimes you'll have several animals sitting in very close proximity to each other, where it's a bit of a standoff. I can kill you, you can kill me, who's gonna make the first move?
This redback is tolerating a neighboring brown house spider. They're actually biological cousins, but keep to themselves, even though it's hard to tell whose web is whose.
And they'd be aware of each other by vibrations in the web. And so they'd be threatening one another with vibratory threats so that the other spider would know that they were there. But if one of the spiders didn't back off, definitely a situation where conflict might occur.
The redback has snared a beetle, 10 times her own weight. The superpowered silk is extruded from spinnerets mounted on the redback's posterior. Her web is one of the stickiest and strongest in the spider business. If it was scaled up to the thickness of climbing rope, it could snare a jumbo jet in flight. Next door, a brown house spider has her hands full. She's landed a supersized meal with a dangerous kick. Like the redback, she combines a sticky web with fast wrapping.
It sets up trap lines in its lair. Once detected, it'll drop down and attack with a barrage of silk.
Her fangs are small and deliver powerful venom. But this time, she may have bitten off more than she can chew. Another neighbor, a fellow brown house, thinks the grasshopper is in her web. It's a neighborhood dispute that's about to turn ugly.
You've got spiders, they're eating the same prey and are competing for food in a relatively small space. And at some point, these animals are going to come in conflict.
Neither brown house has any intention of backing down. The neighbor moves first and starts a wrapping frenzy. Not only has she lost her meal, the original brown house is now losing her life as she's bound and gagged at her own dinner party. A deadly bite seals the deal.
One brown house spider has just killed another one, even though they're the same animal. But this is not unusual in nature. Fratricide or cannibalism is quite common. Just because you're related doesn't mean you're not dinner.
But the neighborhood dispute is about to escalate as the redback from next door joins the fray.
Given that they're close to one another, this face-off is going to end in the death of one of these spiders. But which one? That's up to chance.
Inside a crowded log, two brown house spiders went to war over dinner. Now, one's a meal herself. But hostilities aren't over yet. A neighbor from across the street, a redback, has decided to join in. She has a web nearby, and she's just breached an invisible wall. The brown house has a new problem.
Pretty much, this is a totally even matchup. Both have the same equipment. You know, they both have silk at their disposal. They both have venom at their disposal. They both have sticky webs. It really is who happens to get the edge, who happens to wrap up the other one faster.
The neighborhood fight is about to get even nastier. On the world's stickiest tightrope. Each spider tries to stay clear of the other's spinning legs. The first to start their rap of death wins. They're so evenly matched, the tiniest false move will spell disaster. The redback puts 1 foot wrong. She's stuck. Seizing her chance, the brown house spins furiously, wrapping her opponent's legs.
The brown house spider's most deadly weapon is its silk. It has these long, combed legs that it can use to throw it forward like a deadly crochet.
With all her strength, the redback can't break free. She's cocooned alive.
The brown house spider's fangs are very small, so it'll only bite once the prey is firmly secured with the silk.
The brown house has already had her appetizer. The redback makes a tasty entree. Now, the neighborhood bruiser sits back and waits for dessert to come by. What happens when a water strider takes a swim with a water spider? It's time to run, but there's nowhere to hide. Some call him the Jesus bug, because he too can walk on water, although he prefers to jump at lightning speed.
If something tries to catch him, his best defense is to just skate across the water, but he can also use the water like a trampoline and jump up in the air. They can travel 100 body lengths in a single second.
It's like a 6-foot-tall human taking off at 400 miles per hour. More incredible still, the water strider never gets wet. Along each leg, thousands of tiny hairs trap air bubbles, and this makes a waterproof coat. Also helping to keep the water walker dry is surface tension on a pond. Its long legs spread its weight without breaking the surface.
They distribute their very light weight in such a way that they don't break the surface tension of the water. This allows them to use the water as basically a big piece of bendy rubber.
Buoyed by this skin of water, the strider wields a lethal weapon. It's a giant proboscis that spears and kills its prey. It also doubles as a drinking straw, or insect innards.
Like a hypodermic needle on legs. His bite is mean.
A small creature that can't handle the water soon becomes bug slurpee.
Water striders feed on the water surface. They're basically an undertaker who make the sick and dying die.
The water strider turns any pond into a battleground, but it doesn't have the field to itself. The water spider is just as comfortable on a pond as it is on land.
Water spiders are able to travel across water much more effectively than most other spiders or many other invertebrates. If they were a car, they're moving on the order of 300 miles an hour. I mean, they're just incredibly fast spiders.
Though this female is bigger than the strider, she still doesn't sink or get wet. She also relies on tiny hairs to make an air suit. Even more astonishing, she has tiny claws at the tip of each leg, giving her incredible grip on the water surface.
If they really want to take off and run after something or run away, they're able to literally gallop on the water. They raise their legs up and are literally running across the water in a gallop. And they have relatively waxy feet and they have long legs, and so they're able to make use of a small dimple of surface tension on the water and walk on the water. They hold their front legs and their back legs out, holding onto the water, and then they use their middle two legs to stride, and the little dimple of water acts like an oar. So literally, they're moving along like this in the water.
And when a potential meal, like this fly, hits the water, it telegraphs ripples straight to the spider's sensors.
By putting their feet at the water's edge, they're responding very closely to vibrations coming from the water. They're exquisitely sensitive to those vibrations.
There are worse ways to go than drowning. You can be killed and eaten inside out. In a face-off between these two floating attack machines, it all comes down to who moves first. The spider is strong and fast, but the strider is even faster.
The lineup is against water striders, which are fast, zippy on the water's edge.
Water striders cannot compete with water spiders on strength. They need to be able to detect the danger and get away.
It'll be a case of the quick or the dead. These water striders are drifting around the pond with the wind. At the water's edge, the spider dangles her sensitive feet, picking up the slightest movement. The striders, too, are feeling for vibrations, but they're unaware of the spider hidden against the rock.
They tend to be very nicely camouflaged. Often they have coloring that up against rock faces, you just don't see them.
Unaware, two striders have drifted into easy range. One uses its lightning speed to escape. The other is not so lucky. Deadly venom shoots into the strider. It will never know what happened. The
fangs are used to squish the prey up to some extent. it is simultaneously regurgitating digestive enzymes. So what they're basically doing is they're dissolving the prey, turning it into a protein milkshake, and then sucking it down.
The strider is turned to liquid.
The water strider was in the wrong place at the wrong time to mess with a water spider.
In bug water world, no one gets wet, but you can become a drink. There's no place like home sweet home, unless you're a bug. Keeping a single address is sometimes impossible when your neighbors are nasty, and you may have to fight to keep your home. It's brains versus bite for the biggest prize, survival. In the rainforest, hunters don't come any smarter than this. A flair for strategy. A master of disguise. The name is Spider. Portia Spider, licensed to kill. Portia is a specialist assassin. She prefers other spiders. And her 8 all-seeing eyes can pick them off in all sorts of conditions.
The eyes have different functions. The eyes on the side are very attuned to movement. A jumping spider can see 360 degrees. The front huge eyes are essentially recognizing contrast and discriminating distance. Combination of these different eyes, they just have superb vision.
Portia is also a mistress of camouflage. Tufts of brown and white hair all over her body, thick brushes on the top of her legs, and thin lower leg segments make her look like forest debris. It's the perfect cover for ambushing prey. And when it comes to the kill, she has all the equipment a stealthy assassin needs. Fangs that deliver lethal venom, and mouth parts that flood the victim's body with digestive enzymes, so it can be dissolved, ground up, and sucked in as a liquid lunch. But Portia is armed with another weapon you can't see.
Portia are incredibly intelligent spiders. What Portia seems to do is locate its prey, figure out where it is, approach it from a number of different angles until it's in an optimal hunting position.
She's also a master deceiver. She doesn't just look like leaf litter, she acts like it.
They will pluck on webs that indicate that just a little debris has fallen into the web. And so the spider may come up to the web, try to remove the debris, only to be attacked.
You don't mess with a fine-tuned killing machine unless it has a weakness. And this is the arch-villain who could find it. A stay-at-home hunter and a high-wire walking warrior. The long-jawed orb weaver.
The orb weaver's web is laid out like a circular grid, with lines radiating out from the center, The spider will sit in the center, and from there it can get to any point on the web very fast, and those long legs just enhance their speed.
The orb weaver lies in wait. A silent ninja poised to strike.
Orb weavers have 3 little claws at the end of each leg, and while they're sitting on the web, they're monitoring every little vibration.
Each movement means something. A puff of wind, a falling leaf, or what the skillful hunter is really waiting for, a trapped insect.
Sensing vibration is far more important to these guys than seeing things. In fact, vision doesn't really play a role at all in their hunting strategy.
When this 8-legged ninja strikes, it's lightning quick. But no throwing stars here. Just 2 long, razor-sharp fangs. Perfect for turning prey into shish kebabs. The orb weaver's long body is also superbly camouflaged. Stretched out in the middle of the web, it could be a stick. The fly obviously thought so. Now, wrapped in those deadly jaws, it's not thinking much at all.
The Longjaw's spiked chelicerae effectively perform the same function as the raptorial arms of a mantid. They help grab onto the prey, hold it, and tear it apart.
Nearby, the Portia spider is figuring how the orb weaver could become her next meal. A lethal assassin versus a deadly ninja. Only one will survive. In the peaceful surrounds of the lush rainforest, a camouflage specialist stalks a larger-than-life arch-villain.
Portia's a camouflage spider. They look like a piece of debris, and that's all there is to it. They don't look like a spider walking along. They don't look like a predator, and they don't feel like a predator.
Portia has devised a plan of attack. She starts snipping the long jaw's silk lines, clearing a jumping path for a view to kill.
The Porsche has done such a good job of tricking the Longjaw that it is oblivious to the threat, even as its back to it.
Portia keeps snipping. One stray line in the path of her jump, and the diner could become the dinner. With the lines clear, she moves into position. A quick, clinical kill. As the venom-filled fangs plunge into the orb weaver's body, what took more than an hour of scheming and preparing is over in a moment. Portia venom is unusually potent, especially to spiders. As the deadly cocktail courses through its body, the long jaw is paralyzed, then eaten.
You know, it's no surprise that this Portia won. Long-jawed spider, unless it escaped fast, was doomed. It isn't a spider hunter. Portia is a spider hunter. They're good at what they do. They're really smart. I don't think the long-jawed spider had a chance.
Like a professional assassin, Portia is ruthlessly efficient. And she's already planning her next kill.